I got 3 players the Chicago Bears need to cut and move on from this offseason. So let's talk about it, people. What is going on? Y'all, Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears and here to talk about the 3 guys that I feel like, hey, we got to do better. Let's cut these guys, get that cap space going, and go ahead and upgrade those positions. So we'll start with the first player. And by the way, I have also other guys that I'm considering at the end that I'll share with you guys. The first player that we have to talk about is Ryan Bates, offensive lineman Ryan Bates, who's due about $4 million, man. This is a clear cut situation for me. He was never available. I know the offensive line is a position of need. It is our biggest position of need, but we need guys who are going to stay available. The last thing I want is a guy who is not going to be available. And even when he is he really that good, that impressive? Not really. So let me go ahead and cut him, save that money, and use those resources elsewhere because Ryan Bates has been a flop, of a trade for the Chicago Bears. And flat out, you got to cut your losses and move forward. So to me, I'm cleaning my hands of Ryan Bates and moving on. And that's my first cut candidate for the Bears. Number 2, this one's also clear as day, Gerald Everett. Tight end Gerald Everett, who we signed in free agency this past season, due about $6.48 million with $1 million only in dead cap. I mean, this is about as easy of a decision as it gets. He was non-existent this season. Now, you could say that was due to the coaching and the scheme and him not being utilized. That's fine. 8 catches in 17 games. Like, Gerald Everett is not useful for this roster. Now, Ben Johnson may seem like, hey, I have a role for him on this team, but you can still cut him and sign a different tight end because the salary that he is being paid is just not worth it. So to me, this is another non-decision, meaning we don't even have to think about this. Let's cut Gerald Everett. That's number 2. All right, moving on to 3. I got 2 guys here, so I'm kind of cheating here, but you guys can chime in on this. Both guys on the defensive line, Zach Pickens and Dominique Robinson. To me, both guys have been underwhelming. They've had flashes here and there. Dom Rob more so than Pickens. But both guys have been very underwhelming, like I mentioned. So to me, again, I'm trying to revamp the trenches. I don't need dead weight. I don't need guys that aren't good. So even though these are positions of need and players in these positions of need, they're not good players. They're not consistent players. And so to me, I'm saving a little under $1 million with cutting Zach Pickens, saving about $1.1 million, cutting Dominique Robinson. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Either or both. So to me, I don't mind if you want to keep one for a little bit of depth on the D-line. Sure, so be it. But to me, I have no problem moving on from either. All right. And so those to me are kind of the clear ones. Hey, like we don't have to think much about it. These are easy decisions for us. Now, there are other guys that it's not as easy. All right. So let me just rattle off some of these other names that you want to think about. Keenan Allen, Kevin Byard, DeAndre Swift, DeMarcus Walker, Jonathan Owens. Those are 5 guys that I looked at when we looked at the Bears contracts, and I thought, hey, this is a conversation, right? Ryan Poles needs to obviously have a conversation with the front office and decide what do we do with these players. So I'll just quickly rattle off my thoughts on each. Keenan, I told you, I don't mind him back in a team-friendly contract capacity. A lot of this also depends on Ben Johnson. If he is hell-bent on increasing the speed on this roster, then Keenan really doesn't have a role. And so I move on at that point. All right? And cut him. Kevin Byard, safety position, certainly getting dicey now with Jaquan Brisker's health. Can he count on it? Can he not? The salary's up there, so cutting him would save you money. But he was productive, man. Kevin Byard was productive. So I personally would keep him. But let's see what the Bears do. DeAndre Swift, I'm not the biggest Swift fan, but just with how the money works, cutting him this offseason is going to cost you way more than next offseason. So to me, DeAndre Swift is not a guy who can be your main running back. He's more of a change of pace guy to me. So it's tough. I think just from the contract perspective, I probably do keep him. But hey, this is the same guy that was on Ben Johnson's roster, and Ben Johnson chose to move on. Obviously, they had Jahmyr Gibbs that they drafted, and then they signed David Montgomery in free agency. So to me, I think I just keep Swift just because of the contract being, that much more. We paid him a decent amount of money. DeMarcus Walker and Jonathan Owens, I'll probably keep both of those guys. I think they're decent enough at their jobs to be able to, go ahead and swallow those salaries. So I don't mind that. So to me, that's where we're at here. You take a look at the Bears' overall salary cap situation. We're talking about $63 to $65 million in that ballpark. It's fluid. They're a top 5 salary cap team in the NFL. So we got a lot of money. And just even from the two guys, let's say we don't cut anybody but Bates and Everett, that's $10 million you are saving right there. So that's a big jump. And free agency is going to be very important for us. We're looking at guys like Trey Smith, Drew Dalman, like guys like that to upgrade the trenches. So it's going to be imperative here that we cut the right guys. So let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with the guys that I said the Bears should cut? Do you disagree? Leave a comment down below as always. Thanks for watching.